Srimad Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Shankaram Lokashankaram Sadachivadamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Atmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. With the abundant blessings of our Acharya Swamiji, we are proceeding with our study of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, along with the Bhashyam of Adi Shankara. We are on chapter 8. Chapter 8 is Akshara Brahma Yoga, also known as Dharana Yoga. Here we have started with the analysis of the 7 questions which were raised by Arjuna at the end of the previous chapter. They were mentioned by Bhagavan. At the beginning of this chapter, the questions were raised and questions were answered by Bhagavan. Now, as a continuation of Adhibhutam, Adhidaivam, etc., he is explaining various processes of acquiring jnana. He has explained already many processes. Now he is explaining the fact that the thought that predominates your mind at the time of leaving the body determines the next birth. So accordingly, you have to train yourself. So for training yourself, there are many methods which he has mentioned. Now he is mentioning a method which is in continuation of chapter 6, Dhyana Yoga. So he says, Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena Chetasa Nanyagamina Paramam Purusham Divyam Yati Parthana Chintayanya. This Abhyasa Yoga can be any marga which he has mentioned. But here, from the next few slokas, it is very clear that he is taking us towards Dhyana Yoga, which he taught us in chapter 6. Kavim Puranam Anushadhitaram Manoraniyam Sam Anusmaredhyaha Sarvasya Dhataram Achantya Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamsa Prastha. This is an idea which should get ingrained in us during our Abhyasa Yoga. This is one of the methods. Bhagavan is not claiming that this is the only method which will give you jnana. He has taught us already many methods. He will cover some of them again. Now, as a continuation of this particular Dhyana Yoga, that is why this chapter is called Dharana Yoga. Dharana is before Dhyana. In the Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali, we have seen it before. Dharana is focusing our mind on a single object. That is dharana. Concentrating our mind on a single object. Dhyana is unwavering concentration on that object. Earlier there was disturbances. Those disturbances have been negatived, nullified, and we have focus. That is dharana. Once we have focus, it continues as uninterrupted dhyana. So the dharana process is what he is explaining here in the context of the thought which predominates at the time of death. That is the context. In that, this whole thing is coming up. Prayanakale manasachalena bhaktya yoga balena chaiva Bhruvor madhye pranamaveshtya samyake satam param purusham upayati divyam. Prayanakale, at the time of death. Achalena manasa, unwavering mind, steady mind. Bhaktya yukto yoga balena cha eva. He is qualifying the quality of the mind. One first quality was steadiness of the mind. Second quality is bhaktya yukta. You should have devotion. That is the desire to attain Paramatma. That is basic. That is mumukshutva vesa. So that is basic. So that is bhakti. Bhakti is devotion. Devotion is defined as love of Bhagavan. We have seen it before. Bhakti is love of Bhagavan. So, an ardent desire to merge with Bhagavan, that should be there at the time of death. That is a prayana kala, it is said. Achalena manasa bhaktya yuktaha, accompanied by devotion, yoga balena cha eva. Now, at the time of death, it is very difficult to reach this particular state. Bhaktya, achalena manasa. These two qualities, difficult to reach because of the terrible condition of the body. And body influences the mind, all said and done, for ordinary people. It is only rare jnanis who don't care for their bodies, as we saw some of the instances. Now, that is why he is putting this clause, yoga balena chaiva, on the strength of yoga practice which you have done throughout. So that yoga, abhyasa yoga, tena we saw in the previous focus. So same thing. So that is the strength, that is the power. Yogasya balam, yoga balam, samadhika samskara prachaya janita chitta sthairya lakshanam yoga balam. What is yoga balam? Samadhika samskara. You should have practiced samadhi. That samskara, that practice, that purified mind, because of repeated practice of samadhi. Samadhi samskara prachaya janita chitta sthairya lakshanam. That accumulated impression, prachaya janita, because you have done repeatedly this practice of samadhi, that has left its impression. What impression? Chitta sthairya lakshanam, steadiness of the mind. Because he said, achalena manasa, he said. So achalena manasa is possible only if you have trained yourself in yoga. Yoga balena chaiva. Yoga balena cha eva. Only, eva is only. Only with the addition of yoga bala you can get it. Dhruvor madhye pranam aveshya samyak satam param purusham upayati divyam. This particular person who has trained himself in this type of yoga, Patanjali's yoga, and who is leaving his body with concentration on Bhagavan, how does he concentrate at the time of death, even at the time of death, mind you? Dhruvor madhye pranam aveshya. He brings up his prana shakti to the middle of eyebrows. Urdhagaminya nadiya purvam hridaya pundarike vashikritya chattam tataha urdhagaminya nadya bhumi jaya kramena dhruvoho madhye pranam aveshya. This is the explanation given by Adi Shankara. That means prana should be first focused, concentrated in the heart lotus, hridaya pundarika, heart lotus. That is the place of Bhagavan. That is the place of Atma. So, bring your prana shakti to Bhagavan. First, take your prana shakti to Bhagavan's presence in the Hridaya. Then, take it up. Urdhagaminya nadya, the nadi which goes upwards, that is the Sushumna nadi. Bhumi jaya kramena. That means, in the steps of controlling the mind should not get dissipated in any manner. That is Bhumijaya. That is various distractions. This can be interpreted in two ways. We will not go into that. Modes of mind going in different directions. That is Bhumijaya. Another interpretation is vigilantly conquering Bhumyadinam Panchanam Bhutanam Jayaha. That is, mind after all is constituted, the whole body is constituted of 5 bhutas, panchabhutas, starting from Bhumi, ending with Akasha. So he says, This is mentioned in so many shastras, that prana should be divested of all these qualifications one by one. First Bhumi qualification, next up qualification, and so on, till you reach the Akasha qualification. That is component. That is, you divest yourself of all these components. This is a yogic practice, I will not get into that. So, first we should understand this much, that prana shakti should be brought into the hot lotus and then brought upwards to the center of the eyebrows through the Sushumna Nadi. Then pranam aveshya thapayatva samyak apramattaha sanna satam param purusham upayati divyam. That purusha, that person, he attains upayati divyam purusham, parama purusha, param divyam purusham. The parama purusha, who is divyam. Parama purusha is described as divyam. Divyam means full of bright light. Jyotanatmakam. Bhagavan Shankara says, Jyotanatmakam. That means full of light. There is no darkness. Darkness is only for ignorance. Here we are talking about Bhagavan, full of light. So, that is Parama Purusha. No Purusha higher than him. He reaches him. Param Purusham Upayati. He definitely reaches him if you follow this procedure. As I said earlier, this is not the only method of attaining Bhagavan and remembering Bhagavan at the time of death. But this is a best recommended practice. That is why he is bringing it up now in this context. Brahmarandrat Minishkramya. This has been added by Anandagiri. Pranam Aveshya, he left, Bhagavan left. You bring it up to the eyebrows, then what happens? You should take it up to Brahmarandra, the highest point in the skull, through which prana should leave the body. Brahmarandra, Randra means hole. That is called Brahmarandra, this aperture at the top of the skull, through which the prana should leave. Brahmarandra Vinishkramya. This has been added by Anandagiri. Prayanakale manasachalena Yatyayukto yoga balena chaiva dhruvormadhye pranamaveshya samyak satam param purusham upayati divyam yadaksharam veda vido vadanti visanti yadyatayo vitaragaha yadikshanto brahmacharyam karanti tadde padam sangrahena pravakshe. Once again, he is going to talk to us about the state which you are going to reach. Param Purusham Upayati Divyam, he said. What is that state? What is that state? That state is being described now. That state of Bhagavan, which we are getting now, is being described. Yat aksharam vedavidaha vadanti. Yat vitaragaha yatayaha vishanti. This is how it is qualified. That state which we are reaching. It is not an ordinary state. Yat aksharam vedavidaha vadanti. Those who know Vedas, those who know Upanishads, they talk about this. Talk about what? Talk about Parabrahma. And they say it is aksharam. It is imperishable. They say that. That state you are reaching. You are reaching that imperishable state which is spoken of by those who know Vedas. Then, Vetaragaha yatayaha yat vishanti. Those yatis, those sannyasis, those who have left everything and who are completely devoid of attachment, Vetaragaha. Those people enter this state. You are reaching that state, mind you. So he's praising that state in order to make that state attractive to ordinary people. He is once again, these ideas have been given to us earlier, but in this context, in the context of the last thought at the time of death, he is making this proposition attractive so that we will make some attempt to practice during our lives. So that state, which a Paramahamsa sannyasi, who has left everything, devoid of total attachment, that state reached by him. You are reaching that state. Yadikshantyo brahmacharyam taranti tatte padam sangrahena pravikshe yat ikshantaha brahmacharyam taranti. In order to attain that particular state, people have been adopting brahmacharya. As you know, brahmacharya is practiced for what purpose? For acquiring jnana. That is why he is called a brahmachari, one who goes to the Vedic school, Gurukula, and remains under the tutelage of the Guru, the teacher, is called a brahmachari. Why? Because his one and only aim in life is to acquire jnana. First it is Vedic jnana, later on it will bloom into spiritual jnana. So, yati ikshantaha brahmacharyam tarati. Now those, we are not talking about those young brahmacharis, those who are practicing brahmacharyam, toward the end of their lives, because sannyasis we said, no, vetaragaha, same. They are all practicing brahmacharya, isn't it? What for? In order to attain this state. Because that is single-pointed concentration. Brahmachari means what? They are concentrated only on attaining Brahman. That is why they are called brahmacharis. Yadikṣanto brahmacharyam taranti tatte padam sangrahena pravakshi. That state, I am now going to tell you briefly. That state which this man is going to reach, which he is praising now, he is going to explain once again. Now, Adi Shankara quotes from Upanishads in this context. Why Bhagavan is using certain terms? Aksharam. Etad Vaitad Aksharam Gargi Brahmanaha Adivadanti. This is from Brihadaranyaka. Yajnavalkya is addressing Gargi and says, that is Aksharam, that state is Aksharam. Sarva Vijayata Nivartakatvena Adivadanti Asthulam Ananu. That means it cannot be imagined by our ordinary minds. That is why it is called Asthulam Anano. Anano means it is not tiny. It is not large also. Anaraniyam Mahador Mahiyam. Asthulam. It is not something which is solid, which you can go and touch, which you can go and see, because it is beyond the sense organs. This is what the Upanishad says. Sarva Vishayata Nivartakatvena. It is beyond all attributes. That is why Neti has come, isn't it? Not this, not this, not this. Not this is the only possible description of Parabrahman. As we have seen earlier, Sati Chiti Anandam is a kind of description for making it clear to us. It's not a satisfactory description because it defies description. Vishanti Pravishanti Samyak Darshana Praptau Satyam Yatayaha Yatanashelaha Sanyatanaha Vitaravaha Samyak Darshana Praptau, because they have attained the correct jnana, right perception, they are entering the particular state. Brahmacharyam Guru Charanti Acharanti. Guru, he is adding, Adi Shankara is adding. That means under the tutelage of a Guru, you are brahmacharya, you are following brahmacharya. So this is of course at the time of Gurukula, but even later on, when you want to continue on your spiritual practice, you want to advance your spiritual practice, you have to have the guidance of a Guru. That is why he is saying, you may not need it when you have reached such a pakwa, such a maturity. But till then, you need the guidance of a Guru. This has been the traditional interpretation. That is why he is adding the word Guru. Brahmacharyam Guru Charanti. Yadaksharam Veda Vido Vadanti Vishanti Yatayo Vetaragaha Yadikṣanto Brahmacharyam Charanti Tatte Padam Sangrahena Pravakshe Sarvadvarani मनोहृदि निरुद्ध च मूर्ध्याधायात्मनः प्राणम् आस्थितो योगधारणाम्. Now, here he is going to tell us about more details at the time of death, how you should practice this yoga. And for that, he is bringing in the concept of Om, because if you say everything in very abstract form, even for such a trained mind, he may miss. At the right time, he may miss. So he needs some focus. The focus can be Om. That is the recommendation. This is the recommendation of Upanishads. He is quoting from Upanishads. This shloka and the next shloka, 12 and 13, refer to this particular concept. Sarvadvarani samyamya. Dwara means actually entry gate. What is entry gate here? The sense organs. There are 5 sense organs, isn't it? Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. So those 5 he is describing as Sarvadvarani. Samyamya, completely controlling them. At the time of death, you should not train your eye on something, you should not train your ear on something, you should not train your nose on something, you should not try to speak, you should not try to hear. All this, all sense organs should be completely closed, samyam, controlling. Mano hridi niruddhya, manas should be brought to, controlled and placed in Hridaya. We saw in the last shloka as an explanation. That explanation is now being confirmed by Bhagavan himself. Manas should be brought to Hridaya. Murdhni adhaye atmana pranam asthitaha yogadharnam. Atmanaha pranam murdhni adhaye. Taking the prana, your prana, atmanaha prana, your own prana, you are taking it and placing it on the top of the head, murdhni. First he said bhror madhye. Now he is saying take it up again, which Anandagiri mentioned last time. Now he is confirming that. Yogadharanam asthitaha. That means you should not leave yoga practice. That is, continue with yoga. This is a very critical moment. So don't leave your yoga. Means what? Don't leave concentration. Though you might have closed your sense organs, you might have succeeded in that. Your mind is the worst enemy, as we have said before. So mind may think suddenly, mind may think of your son, your daughter, your property. Mind may go in different directions. You don't know. So that is why he says, Yoga Dharanam Asthitaha. Do not allow the mind to go here and there. Intent on maintenance of yoga. As we said before, he is now once again mentioning our Shankara. Manaha Hridaya Pundarike Nirudhya Nirodham Kritva Nisprakaram Apatya. That means don't allow it to go here and there. Fix it in the heart. Then Tatra Vashikritena Manasa. That is, first you must control your mind in the heart. Vashikritaha. Don't allow it to go here and there. That concept should be made clear right at the stage of the heart. Manasa Hridayat Urdhvagaminya Natya Urdhvam Arukya Murdhi Adhaye Atmanaha. So after that you take it up through the Sushumna Nadi towards the Brahmarandra at the top. Om ityekaksharam brahma vyaharan manasmaran yaprajatita gandeham sayate paramam gatim. So he is giving another guidance here. At that time, you want to say something. The mind wants to pronounce something, because mind is used to pronouncing. So our mind is used to words. Our mind is used to words. That is why japa we are doing always. Why we do japa? It is a mental utterance of a certain word, certain group of words. We are used to words. So he says, okay, I will grant you that word. Use the word Om. No other word. Om iti ekaksharam, single letter. Om is one letter. That is Brahma. That letter itself is Parabrahma. Letter does not represent Parabrahma. Letter itself is Brahmanaha Abhidhana Bhutam Omkaram. It is an expression of Brahma, Parabrahma. It is an expression of Parabrahman. Vyaharan, pronouncing it mentally. Mam Anusmaran, your pronouncing at the same time, your thought should be on Parabrahman. It is your pronouncing, oh, this is a problem. Once we do some japa, our mind goes somewhere else. It is our experience, isn't it? Once we do japa, we don't concentrate on that particular deity on whom we are supposed to concentrate. Gayatri japa. You should concentrate on Gayatri only, isn't it? Not on anything else. But we are not able to do. At that time, we think of the phone, we think of this and that. So that is not correct. So though the mind may be pronouncing Om, you should think of only Parabrahma. Mam Anusmarane, continuously thinking of me meaning Parabrahma. Yaha deham tyajanne prayati, one who leaves the body like this and travels. Saha paramam gatim yati, he is given assurance. He will reach Paramagati, the supreme state. Now, Tyajan Deham, why he says, everybody knows that you have to leave the body, nobody is carrying the body. Why he is mentioning that? Even that is being explained by Shankara nicely. He says, Prayana Visheshanartham Dehatyagena Prayanam Atmanaha Na Swarupanakena Iti Artha. We are talking about a travel where body is not taken with us because we are used to travel with only body all the time. We don't know what is traveling without body. Now, this is the first time you are going to do that travel. That is why it is mentioned, he says. Prayana Visheshanartham is a special travel. Dehatyagena, by leaving the body behind. Prayanam Atmanaha na Swarupanasena. Then what is traveling? If body is left behind, who is traveling? Traveling is Atma. So, Atmanaha Prayanam na Swarupanasena. The body dies, body gets detached and dies. But Atma doesn't die, no decay, no nothing, no change. Atma is full strength. It goes, it travels. That point he wants to bring up here. That is why he is using the phrase Jagan Deham. One minute. One point he mentions here in this context. This, because there are two classes of this kind of mukti which are being talked about in later slokas, so that in advance Shankara is bringing here. What he says is, even those who follow all this, whatever has been described, even those may not reach Parabrahmam right at the moment of death. Yes, some of them will reach. That is called Sadhyo Mukti. There are two types of muktis. Sadhyo Mukti means instant Mukti. Mukti at the instant of death. That is something called Krama Mukti. Stage by stage. Mukti stage by stage. Even those who are following all these rules which have been mentioned, if they have been, this explanation given by Shankara, if they have been focusing on Saguna Brahman, if they have been focusing on Saguna Brahman, Shiva, Vishnu, Devi, Rama, Krishna, Kamakshi, this is Saguna Brahman. If they have been focusing on that, then they will go via the Krama Mukti passage. They will not attain instant Mukti, they will attain Mukti after some time. That will be explained in subsequent slokas. Instant Mukti, if you want, when you are pronouncing Om, Mam Anusmarana, he said, na, that who is that Mam? Mam is Nirguna Brahman. If it is Nirguna Brahman, it is very difficult. If you are able to concentrate, you should have practiced. If you have been able to concentrate on Nirguna Brahma, your Mukti is instantaneous. So, he is quoting in detail from various Upanishads or Shankara to substantiate what I said briefly. He is quoting that. Now, So this anyway will come up again, but he is giving us in advance this idea. सर्वद्वाराणि संयम्य मनो हृदि निरुध्य च मूर्ध्याधायात्मनः प्राणम् आस्थितो योगधारणाम् ओमित्येकाक्षरम् ब्रह्म व्याहरन् मामनुस्मरन् यः प्रयाति त्यजन् देहम् स याति परमाम् गतिम् अनन्यचेतः सततम् यो मां स्मरति नित्यशः तस्याहं सुलभः पार्थ nityayuktasya yoginah. So for this, he is coming back to that point that you should be practicing throughout your life. Don't think all this is achievable in the last minute. That point he is making in this sloka clear. Ananya chayataha, with no other thought, only one thought. Satatam, always. Nityashaha, all the time. What is satatam and what is Nityasana? Even that is being explained by Shankara very nicely. Satatam iti nairantaryam uchyate. That means without any gap. Satatam means continuous. And what is Nityashaha? Nityashaha it is dirghakalatvam uchyate. A long time. One is continuity. Second is long time. Continuity for 24 hours. No, that's not the point. Continuity for many, many years. So both points are being mentioned. Satatam Nityashaha. Yaha mam smarati. One who remembers me, ananya chetaha, na anya vishaye chetaha, no other object of thinking. Tasya aham sulabhaha, nityayuktasya yoginaha. That yogi who is being described is described like this. Nityayuktasya yoginaha. That yogi who is ever attached to me. There is never Sada samahita chittasya, ever focused on me. For that yogi, aham sulabhaha, I am easy to attain. Don't think I am difficult to attain. Now this sulabhaha is being explained nicely by Shankara. What he says, evam samane api. 1 minute. This was mentioned earlier. Now this is being brought up again. Evam samane api ayate mameva na prapadyante anantaphalaya. This was mentioned earlier by Shankara. Aho khalu kashtataram vartate iti anukrosham darshayate Bhagavan. That is, instead of putting effort in what I am now explaining, you are putting effort on something else. And you are putting more, perhaps more effort. Samane api ayase. Same effort which you are putting in acquiring wealth, for example. If you put in this, you will reach me, Anantaphalaya, endless fruit. So, in order to give us that guidance, he is making that point. That is Shankara's explanation. Mahupetya punarjanma dukhalayamashashvatam apnuvanti mahatmanaha siddhim paramam gataha. Once they have reached me, Mam upetya, having reached me, Dukkhalayam ashashvatam punarjanma na apnuvanti. Punarjanma is having this adjective. Dukkhalayam and ashashvatam, very oft quoted phrase to give us the true picture of samsara. Samsara is abode of dukkha. Dukkha alayam. Alayam means abode. Temple is devalayam. It is the abode of deva. Alayam means abode. Somebody who resides there. Here, samsara is accommodating dukkha only. There is no sukha here. Dukkhalayam. Ashashvatam. Something which is not going to stick to you. It is not eternal like that other one. That is eternal. That bliss, that happiness is eternal. Here, whatever happiness you are deriving, expecting is only momentary. Ashashvatam. So that is the two main things which will inculcate the sense of detachment. Vairagyam. In order to develop vairagyam, these two phrases are essential. Dukkhalayam, ashashvatam. If you remember, samsara is dukkhalayam, samsara is ashashvatam. You will not get so much of raga, so much of attachment. Punarjanma, so the janma which will bring you here again, rebirth on this earth, that na apnavanti, these people will not get this kind of rebirth, which is the abode of dukkha, abode of misery, and which is transient. For these people, Mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gataha. They are all Mahatmas. Mahatmanaha yatayaha. Yatayaha means yati. Sannyasis. They have left everything. That is why they are Mahatmas. Mahatma is one whose Atma, who is concentrating only on his Atma. No other distraction. That is why he is a Mahatma. Mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gataha. Paramam samsiddhim gataha. Ekashtam mokshakhyam gataha. Very superior level called moksha. That level, that state, they have reached. Once they have reached that state, they reach me, and there's no question of their return. Rajasthamomala rahita antakaranaha siddhasattvaha samutpanna samyak darshanaha. This is Madhusudana Saraswati's explanation of who is a Mahatma. Rajasthamomala rahita antakaranaha, completely devoid of Rajoguna and Tamam Guna in your antakarana, in your mind. You should concentrate on Sattva-guna only all the time. Shuddha Sattva, pure Sattva. No mixture of, because our Sattva is always mixed with Rajoguna and Tamoguna for ordinary people. But they are not like that. Samatpanna Samyak Darshana. Because of that, they have got the right perception, right jnana. So for them, Kramamukti Darshita. This is what Madhusudana Saraswati brings the concept of Kramamukti here, though Bhagavan has not mentioned. He said, Napnavandi Mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gata. They don't come back to earth, he said. But he did not say they will get moksha instantaneously. They will get moksha. Samsiddhim paramam gata. So Madhusudana Saraswati interprets this as saying that they will get Kramamukti if they have concentrated on Saguna Brahma. So all that will come up again, because there are two courses of mukti being described by Bhagavan. Then how to justify that? Then at that point this comes. Ananyachayata satatam yomam smarati nityashaha tasyaham surabha partha nityayuktasya yoginaha amapetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napravanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gataha abrahma bhuvanalokaha punaravartinoarjuna mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. Now he said no punarjanma for them. This punarjanma is assured even when you go to any other loka. I have gone to Sarga Loka, no punarjanma for me. No, it's not like that. Even Brahma Loka, because normally we think that one person who attained Brahma Loka will not come back to earth. It's not so. Even attaining Brahma Loka is not a guarantee for non-return. Yes, going to Brahma Loka improves your chances, because lots of such Kramamukti jnanis go to Brahma Loka and then attain moksha. So there is a group of such people. So maybe you will be in company of those people. But you have to also get that particular quality. That is what he is mentioning here. Abrahma bhuvana lokaha punaravartino Arjuna. Hey Arjuna, Abrahma bhuvanaha lokaha. All worlds up to and including Brahmaloka. Brahma bhuvana is Brahmaloka. Bhuvana means loka. Chaturdasha bhuvaнаha, we say, 14 lokas, 14 worlds. So right up to Brahma's world, including Brahma's world, or of the type of return. Punaha avartinaha. Avartinaha means returning. Punaha again. Again, you have to return to earth. Mamupetyata kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. Then under what circumstance there is no punarjanma? Only circumstance is attaining me. Mamupetya. Once you attain me, there is no punarjanma. He kaunteya. Punarjanma na vidyate. No return to earth. So that point he is making it clear here. Bhuvanam means bhavanti asmin bhutani iti. Now this is the Vyakarana aspect. Shankara brings out why it is called Bhuna. Because bhutas are there, living beings are there, so it is called Bhuna itself. Because even Brahmaloka, Brahma is there and other Sajnanis are there, so that is also Bhuna. Brahma Bhuna, he said, na, that is it. Punaravartinaha kala parichinnatvat. That is, all these are subject to time. All these lokas have a fixed time. Our earth has got a certain amount of time. Swarga has got perhaps more time. Brahmaloka has got even more time. We will say that. But still there is time. It is not eternal. That is the reason why you have to, when you go to a particular place, that place will disappear after 7 days. What will you do? You have to come back to starting point, isn't it? You go to a particular place, that place will not be available. It's just not there on the face of the earth after 7 days. So what will you do? You have to come back to your old place from where you started. Same thing. So all the lokas are of such type. Only thing is, because they all get dissolved, you are going to live in a very subtle form for a very long time with Brahma. And then Brahma again creates you. That is the process. So which he is mentioning in detail. Bhagavan is mentioning in detail. Now those who attain Krama Mukti will attain moksha along with Brahma. When Brahma attains moksha, till then you have to wait many years. You are in Krama Mukti stage, you have gone to Brahmaloka, you will be there till Brahma attains moksha. His moksha is assured after a length of time. Then your moksha is also assured. Those who attain Brahmaloka, this has been mentioned by other commentators. Those who go to Brahmaloka through yagas, Panchagni Vidya, which is mentioned in Chandogya Upanishad, etc., shall return to earth. They have to return to earth. That is not Krama Mukti. That is only travel up to Brahmaloka and coming back to earth. Abrahma Bhavana Lokaha Punaravartinoarjuna Mahamupetya tu Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate Avyakta Sahasra Yoga Paryantam Aharyat Brahmano Viduhu Ratrim Yoga Sahasrantam Deho Ratra Vido Janaha. Now he is talking about the time, because Shankara mentioned, isn't it? Everything has got a certain time, lifetime. Earth has got a certain lifetime. Now, what is Brahma's time? Let us take the longest. Life is short for Earth. Let us take Brahmaloka, which lives the longest. Sahasra Yoga Paryantam Aharyat Brahmano Viduho. Brahmanaha Ahas, the daytime of Brahma, Sahasra Yoga Paryantam Yat Viduhu. People know. People know means those who have studied Vedas. They know that the ahas, the daytime of Brahma, lasts for 1,000 yugas, Sahasra Yoga. Now, one yoga means what? One yoga means Chatur Yoga, not simply Kali Yoga. Krita Yoga, Dwapara Yoga, Krita Yoga, Treta Yoga, Dwapara Yoga, Kali Yoga. All the four. Out of these four, there is a time difference between each of them. Supposing the Kali Yuga is 1, Dwapara Yuga is 2, and Treta Yuga is 3, Krita Yuga is 4. If you add 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, you will get 10. That means out of the Chatur Yuga period, only 1/10 is Kali Yuga, 4/10, 40% is Krita Yuga, and so on. 40, 30, 20, 10. That is the percentage. And The total, all the four yugas together has been calculated as 43 lakhs 20,000 years. 43 lakhs 20,000 years. And out of that, 1/10 is Kali Yuga. That is 4 lakhs 32,000 years. 4 lakhs 32,000. When we say year, we are talking about human year. Our year is different from Brahma's year. Brahma's one daytime is 1,000 such Chaturyugas. Then you can see the scale. Very difficult to imagine scale. So, out of 4 lakhs 32,000 years, the life of Kali Yuga, we have crossed only a little more than 5,000 years, little more than 1%. And we are complaining of the intensity of Kali. We have crossed just about little more than 1%. 99, 98 point some percentage is still balanced. 4 lakh 32,000 years. Now, so this is the time scale. Brahma's daytime is 1,000 such Chaturyugas. What about his night time? When there is daytime, then he has also got night time. Ratrim Yoga Sahasrantam Tehoratra Vidojanaha. His night is also 1,000 Chaturyugas. His night, same duration, 1,000 Chaturyugas. So what he does, Te Ahoratra Vidojanaha, those who know day and night, this is what they tell us. Kala Parichinnaha Te Ataha Punaravartinaha Lokaha. Now I have given you the time scale, so you know that everything is subject to time. There is nothing beyond time. Only when you come to me, it is beyond time. Only moksha is beyond time. So that is the point being made here. Now, this day and night, what do they mean for Brahma? Though he is not mentioning here that Bhagavan is assuming that we know it. During daytime, he protects all the lokas. He protects all the lokas, including his own loka, right up to earth. And below us, there are 7 lokas, Patala. All of them are under his protection. Now, when the nightfall happens, that is at the end of the 1,000 Chaturyuga daytime of Brahma, then what he does, he dissolves all these lokas. That is called Nitya Pralaya. For him, it is a daily pralaya. What he does, he dissolves all the lokas up to Swargaloka. Bhuhu, Bhuha, Swaha, and then up to Brahmaloka. There are 4 more lokas, isn't it? Mahas, etc. Those Mahas, etc. lokas are not dissolved. They remain there. They remain alive. Up to Swargaloka, Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Swaha. Swaha is Swargaloka. And the below 7 lokas. 7 plus 3, 10. Out of 14. All these 10 lokas are completely dissolved at the time of his nightfall. Then he goes to sleep. So why he allows only 4 lokas to remain alive? Because those 4 are occupied by jnanis, tapasvis, tapoloka, maharloka, tapoloka. Mahas actually means shine, brilliance. That is maharloka, tapoloka, full of tapas. Finally, brahmaloka. So, then Janaloka, that is also like that. Similar, great tapasvis. So, he is leaving these 4 lokas in the care of those tapasvis, and then he goes to sleep. At the end of his night, when he wakes up in the morning, he creates all these 10 lokas again. Till then, they are remaining in subtle form with him. These devas, all of them will come back to their positions. And of course, not necessarily the same position. Human may not come in back as a human. He may become an itself, if your gati is like that. So that he is mentioning in the next shloka. Avyakta vyaktaya sarvaha prabhavan jaharagame pratyagame praliyante tatraiva avyakta sanyake. Avyaktat Vyaktaya Sarvaha Aharagame Prabhavanti. Aharagame, at the time of daytime, at the beginning of the daytime. Ahaha Ahasya Agame. At the beginning of the daytime, Sarvaha Prabhavanti. All these beings are created. Who is created? Sarvaha Vyaktayaha. All individuals. Why he is calling them as individuals? Because they are coming from avyaktat, something which cannot be described as individual. It is a whole that only Brahma knows. How he is crores of such people he is holding in one whole. That is avyakta. Something unmanifest. Avyakta is unmanifest. Vyakta is manifest. Once it is manifest, it is in the form of individual. Once it is unmanifest, it is a subtle form. We don't know about it. That is why it's called avyakta. Ratragame prayante tatraiva avyakta sanjake. At the time when the night starts, Ratra agame. Tatraiva avyakta sanjake. In the same avyakta where it started at the beginning of the day, avyakta we started. So same avyakta sanjake. The same unmanifest state, they go and merge, praliyante, they attain laya, they merge, they are dissolved in the same unmanifest state. Sthavara jangam lakshanaha sarvaha prajaha, not just living beings. Sthavara jangama lakshanaha sarvaha, moving objects, non-moving objects, all of them, they follow this routine. अव्यक्ता व्यक्तयः सर्वाः प्रभवन्तः रागमे रात्र्यागमे प्रलीयन्ते तत्रैव व्यक्तसंज्ञके भूतग्रामस्थ एवायं भूत्वा भूत्वा प्रलीयते रात्र्यागमे वशः पार्थ प्रभवत्यः रागमे. And this is a continuous process. It's not a one night, one day affair. This is a continuous process that is being mentioned here. Avyaktam is mentioned as Prajapatehe Swapavatha. That means his sleeping state. His sleeping state is unmanifest. Saha Bhutagramaha Eva. Same group of beings. Same host of beings. I am this same host of this means whatever has been mentioned in the previous sloka. Bhutva Bhutva Praliyate. They get born again and again, and they get merger again and again with Brahma. That means they die again and again. Ratyagame avashah partha prabhavati aharagame. Priliyate ratyagame. When Brahma's night comes, they merge in him. Priliyate means they merge in him. Ratyagame. Avashaha, it is not in their control. These living beings cannot control this. Of course, even during the daytime, which is 1000 Chaturyugas. So you take a human being, his life is nothing, 100 years. And we are talking about 1000 Chaturyugas, that is one day of Brahma. How many 100 years will be there? It's difficult to count. Even assuming 100 years is the life of one particular human being. Many people die much before. So, how many times this man is born again and again, how many places he will go, which loka he will go. He may go to Sargaloka, he may go to Naraka, he may go to Patala, he may be born as an insect, he may be born as an animal. All that is covered in this long time of 1000 Chaturyugas during the day. So, he is not talking about that. He is not talking about that. He is assuming all that has happened. When the Brahma's night comes, then he attains the subtle form and goes and joins Brahma, again to be reborn. Ratyagame avashaha, that is not in his control. Helplessly. Prabhavati aharagame, then again he gets created at the start of the day, at the daybreak. Now, here, Why he is mentioning this? Bhagavan Shankara is explaining very nicely, very beautiful phrase he is using here. Very beautiful sentence. Akritabhyagamakrita vipranaša dosha pariharartham bandhamokshashastra pravritti safalya pradarsanartham avidyadi klesha moola karmashaya vashacha avashaha bhutagramaha bhutva bhutva priliyate iti ataha samsare vairagya darshanartham cha idam aha. This group of bhutas, living beings, they are born again and again. Bhutva bhutva priliyate. They merge again and again. Avashaha. Helplessly. No, nothing controlled by them. Why he is mentioning that? Samsare vairagya darshanartham. In order to develop vairagya with samsara. Already has mentioned dukkhalayam ashashvatam. There is not enough. Now he is mentioning more. Now he is explaining the time limit. Now he is explaining the time limit through the cycle which we are passing through. And what is that cycle? Akritabhyagama krita vipranasya dosha pariharartham. See, this is a common experience. Shankara beautifully mentioned this. Common experience we see, those who are very good, virtuous people, they suffer. Those who are evil, they are prospering. It's happening right in front of us. So that gives you a question mark. That gives you a question mark. At the same time, that should give you vairagya. If you have a little jnana, you should have vairagya because of that. That is why he is mentioning that point. You are seeing in front of you that virtuous people are suffering and evil people are prospering. Akritabhyagama. That is, take your own case. You have not done anything wrong, but you are suffering. Akritabhyagama. Krita vipranasha dosha pariha. You have done a lot of good things. You are not enjoying the benefit. Then what will you do? You will develop vairagya. So that concept of time, this is happening again and again. Will you not still get disinterest? That is the question. Bandha moksha shastra pravritti safalya pradarshanaartham. The only way to get out of this is moksha, release. So that is the only successful way. So he is mentioning that, he is explaining that. Avidyadi klesha moola karmache vashache avashaha. He is using the word avashaha, no? That he is explaining. Because that is not in your hands. Why? Because avidyadi klesha moola karmache. Because you have accumulated karma because of avidya. Avidya adi klesha, not only avidya, similar to avidya, there are other causes of misery which you have accumulated over a long time. That is why avashaha. So those karmas are following you. As long as the load of karmas is there, you will be caught in this cycle. So that is what he is mentioning here. Avyakta vyaktaya sarvaha prabhavantyah ragame pratyagame priliyante tatraiva vyakta sangyake bhutagrama sayevayam bhutva bhutva priliyate ratyagame vajam partha prabhavantyah ragame. I think we'll stop now. We'll continue tomorrow morning with sloka number 20. Any questions?
Those who have questions, please turn on your video and ask questions. Unmute yourself and ask questions. Any questions, anybody?
Namaskaram. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Namaskaram. Go ahead.
Yeah. You said in Brahma's Ratri that all the for Sagasra Chaturyugas, the Divas will merge into Brahma. That means that for Sagasra Chaturyuga, there will be no creation, no activity for Brahma's night?
No activity, yes, correct. No activity. No activity for all these beings. They are all taking rest. In fact, Bhagavan is arranging like this. He wants to give rest because he knows people are very tired. This to and fro. So he is giving lot of rest. Then he is giving again this manifestation.
But all this birth and rebirth, everything takes place during Brahma's daytime only. That means we go through all our...
Correct. That is why now 1000 Chaturyugas, very long time. See, compared to even Indra, Indra lives only for 70 manvantaras. That is, during daytime of Brahma, 7 Indras come.
Okay.
100 manvantaras is daytime of Brahma. So 14 manvantaras is 1 Indra. I am giving you the scale. 7 Indras come. So even Indra goes back to some other state. He may not attain moksha. He will go to some other state.
Somewhere in your lecture,
That is the highest deva.
Yeah, somewhere in your this one, you have also mentioned, I think, 83 million births we have to take in case we don't try our this one to reach mukti.
Yeah.
What I'm asking is, because that 1,000 Chaturyugas are such a long period, for a normal this one, 83 million births will they happen during the daytime of Brahma itself?
Not necessarily, no? Okay. Not necessarily. You can continue in the next cycle. Cycle is everlasting.
Okay.
Cycle is everlasting.
Thank you. Thank
so
you.
It is not necessary that, not really that, it's not necessary that one has to pass through all the 84 lakhs of yoni.
Yeah,
84 lakhs. It is not necessary. There are 84 lakhs. Presence is there. It's not necessary that everyone should pass through all the 84. Not necessary.
Yeah, based on our own efforts that one can.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Namaskaram, Mama. So in the 11th shloka, we had a word Vitaraga. I couldn't understand the meaning of Vitaraga.
Vitaraga means one who has no more attachment. Vita means gone. Raga means attachment. Raga is gone. That's all. Simple.
And in the previous doubt explanation, you mentioned about rest period, right? So even the Atma needs rest. I was like kind of confused. In the Brahma Loka, you said he has arranged such that. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because Atma thinks it is body, na? That is the problem. If Atma has developed spiritual knowledge, then let's not apply, na? He would have attained liberation. Because Atma is continuously, perpetually attaching itself to the body and relatives across the body, relatives connected to the body. So naturally, he needs rest. Even we need rest, na? Every day. Every day. Why there is a night and rest for all of us? Why it is required? Tell me. It's not required. For us to take rest only. Because we are tired. Same thing happens on a longer cycle.
Okay. Thank you, Mom.
Shri Guru Namaha, Mama. While doing Krishna Bhajana in the afternoon after attending the temple, I had the experience of seeing the Krishna in everybody. So like all the kids, the people next to me, the person. So not Jada Vastu, but Ajada. Everything in the Jada, I saw the Krishna movie, the one soul. So do you consider this as a moksha or what?
Whether it constitutes moksha. That's the question.
Yeah.
Well, it constitutes advancement in its spiritual journey. It doesn't constitute moksha. Moksha is, this experience should continue. This experience should be there with you all the time. Then it is moksha. At no time should you have even the trace of raga, krodha, lobha, moha, all these evils. At no time, even a trace. If you have seen Krishna everywhere all around you, then there is nothing else to aspire for, to get angry with, etc., etc. So that state should be reached. We are talking only about that state. This is no doubt a positive experience, no doubt about that. But that's not enough for the highest goal which we are talking about. It's a good step, right step. Yeah.
It was beautiful. It was very, very, very enriching experience.
Okay. Nice. So we close today. We meet again tomorrow morning at 7 AM IST. नमः पार्वतीपतये हर हर महादेव सर्वत्र गोविंद नाम संकीर्तनम गोविंद गोविंद श्री राजराजेश्वर्यै जय जय